We're going to episode 8. 8 is the number in infinity.
Trash
You are.
Trash and cash, trash and cash. Is the idea trash or is cash? Let us know. Yes, maybe so, or for sure, it's a no. Should we stop while we ahead and turn around, or it's a go? Trash or is cash? Go on ahead, submit your vote. Hey, yo, check dig. You're now tuned in to Trash or Cash Podcast, the show where the host will present a new idea and debate whether it's trash or cash. But the final decision is solely up to you, the audience.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Once again, it's the Trash or Cash Podcast, a show for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. If you've tuned in before, or even if you haven't, this is a pretty simple idea. It's two entrepreneurs. Today is J squared, Jason and Jason, and we're getting together to pitch ideas to each other we think might have the potential to become a successful business. But as you know, ideas are just, ideas are one thing and reality is another. So if you take any action with these ideas, ain't nothing really going to happen with them. But that's why we try to get together. We try to figure it out, unwind some of the things in our head, see if it has legs. And then either one of us might say, okay, well, I think it's a great idea or a cash idea or it's a trash idea. And then we explain why. So here to have a little fun, drink a little water. That's what we got now. I gotta wean myself down off the Celsius a little bit. I gotta rotate, but we're gonna get into the pod right now. So thank you for coming. This is Jason Rashidnia.
Oh, you said it perfectly.
Rashidnia. I mean, I got that's the Latino in me. I try out new syllables, whatever. I take a chance.
Right.
And Jason and I met at it was about a month ago now, right?
About a month ago, yeah.
And this was at the Techstars.
The Techstars alum.
Alumni. And I was there to see something, and then I found out he was actually a Techstar alumni with the Moves company that you're involved in. Yeah. So that was cool. And then we kept running into each other. So it was like, since that day, I think we've run into each other no less than 5 times.
Yeah. It was literally like once a week after that.
Yeah. So it was like, all right, so now, and you, the second or third time was actually here in this building. You came that night, and you're like, hey, and I'm like, the hell, you stalking me?
Yeah.
So that's enough about me. I want you to give us a 1-2 minute who you are in a nutshell, other than a guy in a cool hat and an enlightened person.
Thank you. My mission is to help people take control of their food, water, and energy. And with that, I've been in technology for a little bit. I've built some relationships, and I have a little bit of regenerative agriculture in me, some equity in some of these companies, some tech stuff, and some energy stuff. So I have a massive vision for this world, and it's almost sounds impossible to do, but I'm on the path. Everything that I've laid out for myself since I was 15 has come to fruition at this point, and I'm just excited. It's still just the beginning, right? So it's that simple. As complicated and impossible as it sounds, it is that simple. That is my focus. To repeat again, is to help people take control of their food, water, and energy.
And I like
to be sovereign.
I like that it's technology and farming that you're really into, because anything about business, I mean, we all need to eat, and as we know, with the way things are going with Monsanto and some of these other companies, it's like we really don't control any of that anymore, and it shows, with Americans. And we definitely need better answers and people to be on top of that. So I've really found that you were cool. Like, it's like this old school and new school thing under one person, I guess you could say. And and you guys hit me to the whole Moringa thing, and I guess you could talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
But like that's, we were meant to talk. We got the same name and all that. So it was kind of just weird, like how this happened. But like I say, go with it, because you never know where these things are going to go. So did I leave anything important? I mean, did you leave out anything important you need anybody else to know about you? Like, I mean, I know you're a complex dude, and we're not going to get all of you in one download.
No.
You're like a 20 gig download on a
100 terabytes.
100 terabytes on the old school AOL dial-up. That's what that's like, right?
Right.
So that being said, I'm going to ask you some questions to kind of further clarify like who you're about, what you do, and I do this because I want other people out there, we have a little bit of relationship and it's growing, but for them to get to know you, Because I think you're a real cool dude. I mean, that's kind of why we vibed, and we just keep running into each other. So, you know,
It's meant to happen.
And I'm hoping that this is another vehicle for you to get yourself out there in the world and help you on your path, whatever that looks like. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah. That's what I'm here for, man. That's why I do this stuff. So, what are you most proud of?
Most proud of my son, who's sitting out there.
Dude, awesome. Has that not been the theme today, Alex? Like, everybody's pointing to their kids. Like, every single... I want to see what happens.
Right. Oh, totally forgot
yeah,
that.
Father's Day weekend.
I didn't even know it was Father's Day weekend.
Your son's out there and my son's out there. But continue. I didn't mean to break that up. But, like, this has been the theme today. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Like, I'm proud of him. Early on when... So this isn't a story that many people know, but early on when he was born, I was pretty absent from his life early on because I was still trying to figure myself out. I had just turned 21 when he was a baby, and eventually, like, his mom took him to another state, and I allowed it. I shouldn't have allowed it, but in any case, I was in a different world in my life, and it's been the last few years where I've built a foundation for myself where now I can be more present. More fully present, and now that I'm more present, I see him growing into a nice, beautiful young preteen, trying to be a hustler. He's selling candy in schools and stuff, and I'm just like, oh man, I love it. I didn't even try, I didn't even try to tell him much, but he's just blooming into his own young man. I'm
glad you shared that with me because now I know the idea I'm going to talk to you about because of your child. So that's awesome. Some people may know this about me, but I like when I think of like who are my people, who do I want to reach the most, who do I want to help the most, as far as in business and in this world, other than children, because I'm meant to be a father to the fatherless. I determined that already. Is dad entrepreneurs, dadpreneurs. Why? Because of my journey and the responsibility and the struggle it is to have these two sides of you. And when you said he's out there hustling, and I know because we were with my other son, we were both at that same thing this week, Soaring Cities. You got your son, I got my son. So like me and you do the same thing. We bring them with us. We try to see if they got that hustle. If they don't, where they fit in. We try to get them a TV show, I think. It's like we're trying anything we can. Whatever gets our kids excited, we want to get excited too because we're responsible for them. We want to be in their lives. And I think we chose this life of entrepreneurship and technology just because we want to be around them more, which back in the day, I don't know about your parents, but like back then, people used to work all the time and come home, and that was it, and like be too beat to do anything. So we do have, that is one of the benefits these days of like the world we live in, is that we can be present more, and just how to manage that. Because of course, if we're selfish, we want to just be networking all the time and doing what we got to do because we want to move fast, but we forget we have responsibilities too. So thank you for sharing that, man. I really dig that. So next question.
Sure.
At what age did you know you were going to be an entrepreneur?
I would say somewhere around 15, 16. I had like immense vision in the middle of the night where I woke up in the middle of the night and I was just like, oh my God, it was me. I'll paint the picture. It was me and my future wife, like walking out on our balcony on some futuristic looking city, right? And I don't know if that was in this dimension or another, but in any case, it was a dream. And I looked at my wife and my kid, and we said, look, we built this. And I was like, whoa. So I realized in order to do that, I had to make some massive changes. I didn't want to do what my parents did. My parents are immigrants, right? So they came to this country. They worked their asses off to build what they have. And
what kind of business was it?
Not even a business. They were just a middle class. Like, mom was a nursing professional. My dad was he drove buses for the school district. So at one point, I guess, to be honest, he kind of gave up on himself. My mom kept the thing going, and she worked her tail off to build our family. And so I watched the dynamic, right, and how that worked out, and I realized like I needed to be a different dad, a different person. So I knew what not to do ultimately. And now, no knock to my dad. he had to do a lot
No,
of
you just
growing.
you saw what he was going through, and you were like, I don't want that.
Correct.
I'm not condemning that. That's your battle, but I gotta avoid. That's a trap I want to avoid.
Yeah,
basically.
correct.
Yeah.
And my dad has a massive heart. He's a great man. There's no, he grew up with a lot of trauma, right? He grew up in Iran, living in mud huts, and just a really tough life, right? And so I knew his life, and I have no judgment on it. So, doing what he's done is the best in his head that he could have done. Great, I respect it. Now that he's older, though, he's grown. He's seen me hustle. He's seen me grow. And,
Did he pitch you any business ideas yet?
Who, my dad?
Yeah. Because that's what happens.
He's always talking about ideas, but it's just like, yeah, dude, like, I want to just follow me. Just do what I'm doing, Dad. Like, don't worry about those things.
I got you, Dad. Just like,
yeah.
I'll give you something to do. Don't worry.
I got you a job. let me finish up a few things.
Yeah. So it's crazy you painted that picture. At first I was just thinking, like Dubai or Singapore, but then I actually got that vision of Star Wars. So third question, what is your vision of the future? And if you want to expand on the city thing and what brought you to that?
Sure. The vision of my future. So
what's your vision of the future? If it's something else.
Yeah. In order to achieve what I call elevated consciousness, you have to have your base foundations handled. You have to have control of your food, water, and energy. It's as simple as that sounds. It's not easy because of how our world is structured right now. And I feel like everybody on earth has anxiety for these basic needs, right? And if you were able to handle that, get that handled, then your mind is free to roam, free to be human and creative again. So the whole creator economy, right? Like that whole deal. I want everybody to be a creator. I want everybody to learn to tap into their higher self. And you can't do that if you're worried about your next meal. You can't do that if you're worried about, paying your bills. Bills, even the word bill comes from bull and ball. Ball is an ancient demon. So
it is a demon. And
so I'm a studier of etymology of words and where they come from. And if you really break down how words are created, you begin to realize words create your reality. And if you don't have control of words, your thoughts, then everything else kind of, it's just a whirlwind of shit.
Yeah. That's and so
we are all creators.
Real quick side note, it's funny you said the thing about bills. Is one of the things I always say is paying bills doesn't pay the bills. And it's the idea that sitting there and writing out these checks and worrying is not actually putting any more money in your pocket. So you should probably do the other thing first, and then this is easier than, I got to go take 2 hours out of my day. No, go do something that's going to make you enough money to pay to catch up to that. If you have to be a little late, be a little late. But it doesn't. The act of doing that, it does not pay anything. That's it just correct. Pays the bill, but it doesn't put no money in your pocket.
It's still in you're still in chains. Yeah. You're still in a mental slavery.
And I like how you broke this down. Control over your food, water, and energy. Because from what I know about you now, food and energy are your domains. Water is obviously we need that for life, and that's even under other people's control now. And I'm gonna get into that now, but I'm just curious as to what's your plan for that, because now I see you do have the basics thought out anyway, and you're working on at least 2 of those. So that's correct. Pretty smooth. All right, so this next part is the fun part. This is what you come here for.
Okay, let's do it. You warmed me up, man.
This is, so we're going to pitch each other an idea, either from your current business, and you got a few, or my current business, which is Trash Meter, which actually I am going to hit you with a little bit of something like that.
Please.
Something that I might, you or I might have had buzzing around in your head at some point, and you're like, I got to get this out there in the world. I got to see if this would work. What do you think? And, after this, 2-3 minutes, I get to decide, or you get to decide, is it a cash idea, meaning, yeah, that could work, or is it a trash idea? And, we part as friends as always. But that's the fun of this. It's like, it's almost like arm wrestling intellectually, like, I got you. Sure. But for fun, because I really love doing these talks with entrepreneurs. We do it at all these networking events and all these other things we see, social media, and they're just like short, 1-sentence conversations. But like, I love this. Like, to me, getting to know people, of course, and figuring out how I can help them, how they can help me too, because none of us do this alone.
Sure.
But we work together, and that energy needs to stay circulating, or it just dies, drops. And if you're an energy guy, you know that, like, cash needs to move, wind needs to move, everything needs to move, or it dies. So this is my way of moving things around. And even though it's called trash or cash, you know, that's the way I put it. But you know, this is moving ideas around. This is keeping creativity flow. So
we are a wave.
With that being said, do you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
So you want me to just drop an idea?
Drop an idea, and then like you see how I'm writing down stuff from the pad. Like
Sure.
If I say something to you, just, you know, if you got notes, because, you know, that just
you
for
go first.
clarifying
You go
questions.
first. I want to see how your mind rolls with this.
All right, I'll go first.
Yeah, go
All
ahead.
right. So you know about Trashmitter some, you know, it's a trash app, Uber for trash.
Mm-hmm.
But I think of trash the same way, you know, the trees. We live off the trash of trees, the byproduct. Like, if there's not enough oxygen, we have problems with the depending on what environmentalist you ask, it's like, okay, well, we need them to live. Our waste product, our carbon dioxide helps them live, and vice versa. So that's the most basic of waste. Oil in the ground, you know. So a farmer in the 1800s, it was a disease. Like, I can't plant on my land. Now it's black gold. So I look at trash the same way, and I'm always looking for trash as, like, not this get rid of thing. Like, how many ways can we use this? You know, different mechanisms to turn it from, you know, trash to cash. I guess you say alchemy. Okay.
How do you turn it into value?
Yes, exactly. Like,
what
you
we
know,
think as of waste into value.
We simply think of it like, well, we think of it more recycling, upcycling,
Sure.
circular economy. Like, we're really thinking about that now. So
Yeah.
in that vein, right? So
Correct.
one of the things I wanted to, and I started on, but, like, there's still some challenges, but I'm working through them, is I call it green teams. And right. So because I was like, okay, how can I get in people's heads, do good, encourage children entrepreneurship, and in a way that's fun and, you know, useful. You know, I like carrot, not stick. I think that's the problem.
Great
I think, you know, the people that come out now is all woe and gloom and doom, and that's why people just kind of roll their eyes. It's not that what they're saying is completely off. It's just like, you know, yeah, so what can I do about that? Well, I can stop using deodorant. Okay, whatever. The point is, like, it's not, there's other ways, right? And so how can we keep this fun and help the kids? So Green Teams was a bunch of kids. Think of the Girl Scouts, right? So what do Girl Scouts do? They hustle cookies. And what do they do for a prize, right? So they take a product that you probably don't need and it's unhealthy for a premium price to go win a badge and some things and maybe a bike or bragging rights. But it's a thing. Like, everybody knows they're out there, and there's other versions of this. But so I was thinking, okay, I have a problem with our trash app, and that is when people put their trash out, sometimes people take it upon themselves to add additional trash. So we're working on different things for that. A sticker to identify it so that, like, you know, they're not getting charged because they get charged per bag. They don't get overcharged. Well, I wanted to make branded trash bags with our name on it, our QR codes on it, that were easily identifiable, so that if someone were to use our services and you see bags, you're like, those are the right ones, those are the wrong ones. So that's the beginning of the problem solving on my end, okay? Now, if I have a bunch of children evangelists and I say to them, well, I want to pay kids, part of the idea is I want to pay kids to pick up litter. So based on other information I had, like, there's programs for homeless people. They'll pay them like $2 a bag that they pick up, and you pick up a certain amount of bags, right? So what if I created these trash bags and they were branded, and I take it and I say to any kid who wants to make extra money, hey, here's the deal. So you're going to sell these trash bags. Everybody needs kitchen bags, okay? You're going to sell these special bags. They're our brand. They have our. They would use our service if they were to use our service. They don't have to use our service, but these are, you know, biodegradable or, you know, or whatever, better for the environment.
Sure.
And then they're branded, and I'm in your house, and these kids are, like, selling a useful product, and each box that they sell subsidizes 2 bags of litter picked up from wherever you want. It could be your neighborhood or whatever. So now they got to go fill up these bags, but they're getting paid. And then whatever the kid, let's say there's a bunch of kids, like there's a group, or maybe it's 1 or 2 kids. They also get $2 just for selling because they hustled the box. So $6, let's say, off of a $20 product goes to them.
Right.
And that's just rough numbers. then they go out and they go to the schools, they go to everybody else, and they try to sell these bags that people actually need, and it's not unhealthy, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
So part of that has been built out. It's like this. And the challenges are just basically, okay, the parent that goes with to supervise the kid, depending on their age, like most parents don't want to walk around like that. Some do. Sure. But, we've experienced it. But that, and then paying the kid, and I actually did find a solution for that. A card that pays them in crypto, but that's not completely built out yet. Okay. But my point was, it was a mechanism for children entrepreneurs to do good, have fun, get exercise, clean up the earth, and make money. Right. And I just called it green teams because everything I do is green.
It's not bad, actually.
How do you? But like as a basic premise with a couple of wrinkles about paying and distribution and stuff like that. What do you think about that on the surface as a good business idea? And it's not a standalone thing. It's actually part of the app, but by itself, I think it's still better than cookies, to be honest with you. So
I would agree.
Yeah.
Do I pick one of these up?
Yeah, you pick one, and it's like if you liked it, it's cash, and if it's trash, then
I like it.
All right,
I
cash.
like it. That's cash.
What do you like most, and maybe what do you like least?
So what do I like the most is the social impact piece of it. Right, obviously cleans up the streets. It does a lot of 3 things in one. Right, clean up the streets, get the kids some exercise, make some money. Like you can't complain. Basically, guilting people into making money in a way.
I mean, that's what the Girl Scouts do anyway. Exactly. They give you the Google eyes after they got change. You came out the store.
Just steal that secret of the Scouts and put it into the trash. So I was trying to think of a clever word.
That's all right.
No, that's cool. I actually like that a lot.
Cool.
And how long have you been working on this concept?
A little bit more than a year. Like, if you're asking about how did I execute, like I literally had my son do a presentation. Yeah. You didn't meet this son, but he did a presentation. So it's coming from like this 11-year-old kid, and he's talking about the environment. And he's reading a pitch deck. And I got a video, and it worked, and it was like people signed up, like parents. But it was just like there was just this. It wasn't fully formed enough, like organized enough, because I didn't have enough follow-up emails and accountability and all this other stuff. And another thing, which was a challenge, was like I picked an HOA, right? And anything dealing with HOAs is a pain in the balls, right? Yeah. So. You know why? They all love the idea, but then they're like, but the lawyers think that if a kid falls in the street, then we could get sued. They find any excuse not to do stuff.
Any scenario.
Yeah. Oh. They like it, but they don't like it enough to say yes. However, I knew that if I had just done it without asking, nobody would have said nothing. Right. So and that's just reinforcing the fact that that's when you know something's good, is because then they tell you no, but you can kind of see that there's a wink in that, and you're like, oh, I get it. You're not going to enable me, but you're not going to say nothing if you see it, and it's up to me. And I'm all good with that. So, cool. All right.
Perfect.
Your turn, brother.
Okay. For sure. Yeah, and Moringa is the world's fastest growing tree, the most nutrient-dense vegetable, and it has many, many uses. Similar to the cannabis tree, it's got 25,000 uses. Moringa has very similar abundance of uses. It's safe for pets, plants, animals, everything. So what we do with Moringa, just really simple. It's we grow it and we teach people to grow it, and we also turn it into something called a biostimulant. So biostimulant is what feeds the soil. It's a soil supplement. It's one of the biggest problems in America. We're losing our topsoil, and our nutrient density of our food is basically nil. It's nothing, and that's because the minerals have been leached out of the soil. But yeah.
My understanding of that is that's why farmers used to rotate crops, because certain crops take certain nutrients and they got to kind of move them around so that they can get...
Traditional style of monocropping has depleted all soil. Because you're putting one crop down, you're just stealing all the energy out of the soil. Anyways, the goal is to put back that energy, right? So conceptually, within that, I can create a bunch of consumer products around the Moringa plant. One of them is what I call the Honeyball.
Honeyball?
Yeah. So normally everybody drinks coffee in the morning, right? That's kind of like that standard drink. Imagine having the Moringa oil extract. So Moringa oil that's pressed from the seeds has anti-aging effects. It's really good for your health. Like you see my face, I'm nice and I put it all over my face and hair. So and Is this a PG podcast?
I mean, do what you got to do.
It's a great sex oil too. So, anyways, it's just very healthy for your body.
It's good for your soul. Get on that.
Yeah. The point being, so that oil, you can consume it, eat it, whatever. It's great for you. Mix that with mushroom extract, the shiitakes.
All right.
Okay.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah, all the kinds of mushrooms. So that's in our farm. We actually do grow some mushrooms too. So my goal is to put that all into one like deliverable, a delivery system where you just boil water and throw a Honeyball in it. And now you got your energy drink and your immunity drink.
I like that.
All in one.
It's like, okay, so that's cash. And yes, I'll tell you why I like that, right? So
one for morning, one for night.
All right, well, even better because now you have to double dip so you sell more.
Exactly.
Like for people who drink tea, like so every once in a while I don't feel good, I drink tea, right?
Yeah.
And then they have these like little, I guess they're I don't know what they're called, they're metal balls, right?
Yeah,
and they're like,
I know what you're talking about.
You put a specific type of tea in it, so instead of it's not in a bag, it's in this kind of like graded screen kind of ball thing.
Yeah,
like,
that mesh screen.
But that looks cool. Like to me, like it's almost like when you have refillable K-cups or something like that.
Right.
Like that thing, right? And it's cool. Yeah, it's reusable, so keeping in brand, right?
Right.
And then you could put it in there, and then like you could play with that. But so you can do like these honey balls, but you can almost sell them like not gumdrops, but like little
almost
little
like
packs.
You could do that
like that, like almost like a baby K-cup with that. Make a little process out of it, and then you can dip it in. But it's like you can add different flavors, and because mushrooms is such a hot thing now, and like taking that and combining it with it. And I have had that, and it's a sweetener too, which it's got that bitter first place, but then it goes super sweet on you, like that seed that you guys gave me the other day. And I was just like, okay.
Did you take a bite out of the seed?
Yeah. It was like the first thing was like, it almost tastes like it was something smoky. And then it went into like almost like a stevia sweetness, right? Like real sweet. And I was like, oh, the first taste is, but then after that, so, it left me like, okay, I could deal with that. Like, So I like that. I like that it's easy, small packaging, and it's meant to be reused, and you can play a lot with it, and then you can just do different blends.
Correct.
Like depending on what you want to really like promote, but like it's all based around that. That's a cash idea for a food product. I think there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, I've been sitting on that for a couple of years now.
You need to get that one an MVP of that sucker out there.
I already put all that together in my morning drink. I just have to find a better delivery system.
Well, why don't you just get those balls?
No. Well, I want it to be cool. I really want it to be like your grandma can do it without thinking about it.
Well, how about you make like you give it like a little mash so it's a little bit wet, and then you could just press it into like little shapes, like almost like cookie shapes, where it's like seashell, whatever the hell.
It's possible. Like I'm actually looking for a food chemical formulator to be able to do it the way I want it, because ultimately, if you can make it super easy for people, just boil water and throw your ball in there, and it's already got the honey, it's already got everything. I got a couple other ingredients.
Or even just like freeze dried or vacuum packed little things that you just rip and put.
Exactly.
Something like that. Like, because that way that's real like quality control. Because that's the thing with a lot of these things. It's like you kind of like don't know what kind of dose you're really getting, but it's kind of like these could be like this. If you really need to feel something, double up. If you're just good for like the regular, boom. But if you were like trying to hallucinate, do 4.
Yeah. So we'll have the tripping ones later. But, But we'll talk about immune
levels.
boosting.
Yeah, levels. All right, that's cool. So I mean, look, that wasn't too bad, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I pulled it out of you.
Thank you. You got that.
I pulled it out of you.
On that one.
It's like the whisperer.
Perfect.
The entrepreneur whisperer. Nobody got their feelings hurt. We both learned a little something, and it's cool.
My feelings don't get hurt.
You never know with some people, man.
It's just a drop
what the button is. Is there any, okay, so like I like to give like a little thing where, if you got a book, a podcast, or here's a new one I've been starting to figure out and see do you have some kind of controversial idea, controversial opinion about like conventional wisdom out there that every time you hear it, you're like, wrong. That people will be like, where do you get that crap from? Like that would almost start a fight. So there's going to be a positive or negative one.
Sweet.
You can either pick a book about entrepreneurship that really moved you. Let's go with the podcast. I don't want to start a fight. Sure. Because there's a podcast we both love because that's kind of how we bonded.
Yeah.
And it's called My First Million, and it's Sean Puri, which is the Indian dude, and Sam Parr, which is Hustle, right?
The white boy.
The Hustle. But I'm saying that was his thing. And they do something like this, but on a way higher level, with okay. Well, guests that are a little higher level, but not better.
Sure.
They're not better, right?
No.
And we're doing this
We're
right
all
now.
the
So
same.
this is the shots fired. Me, Jay Squared's going after the first 1 million podcast here in Tampa. Maybe one day we can do a pod off, and we'll just like go head to head, and they can come in and screen, and we can trash or cash each other's ideas live. That would be freaking dream. But I love that podcast. It's actually what we modeled this after in a small, local, similar way with the trash or cash sort of bent on it. What do you got though? Like, I mean, I don't mean to take yours because I know that was yours too, but like anything, a pod, a book.
Well, I do want to shout out to Sean, by the way, because he invested a grant, $25K, into one of my best friend's projects last year. He was just putting out a grant for $25,000.
Was it one of them Stanford kids or something?
No, it was my buddy in India, and he created it was called getalpha.wtf. And no, I'm sorry, it was another project. I can't even remember.
I know they do these little micro projects where they throw.
Yeah, they're just throwing money out just to see what happens. And my buddy caught that $25K for a project, and it was a blockchain project. I just can't remember the name of it right now. But
did it succeed? Or is it still working?
He launched it. I don't know what happened with it after the fact, but
hey.
Anyways,
here's to you, Sean, if you see this, because
thanks.
I want to get there one day where we're just throwing 25 at somebody like on some like an idea from here. Like, I'll back that up because honestly, like I think that's the best stuff in the world if you can do that. I mean, literally, like that's making dreams come true.
Literally, Yash called me the same day. He's like, "Yo, I just got 25K from Sean." I was like, "What?"
Did he deliver it himself? Because that would have been better.
That would have been cool.
He would have been like, "Nah, I ain't getting. I'm taking a plane ride nowhere."
So that was cool. But to go back, I just want to shout that out real quick. But to go back to your question, what is a podcast that was controversial or some kind of media?
Well, an idea that you think is controversial that you have, or it could just be a book or something that you like that really helped you. I don't know. It's your choice.
I think anything written by man is controversial because everybody has an idea, an agenda. Right? I think if you don't go within, you'll never find.
It's pretty controversial. Everybody's full of shit.
Yeah. Everybody's full of shit because the reality is you've been programmed by everything else, right? And and most people have not been able to think for themselves. They are leveraging other people's thoughts and building upon them. They haven't created their own framework for thinking. They haven't been able to decipher truth from nonsense
because it's their truth and not somebody else's truth. Like I was just having this discussion literally this morning with somebody. I was like, our reality, every single one of us in this room and there, we all live in a different reality. Why? Because inside your body, maybe you're only hearing out of one side because you're deaf. Maybe you're colorblind. There's all these things inside you that nobody's experiencing at the same time or receiving the same way, olfactory, sensory, any of that. So every single one of us lives in a separate reality. So what I take from that is create your own reality.
Yes.
That's it. Like there is no one else that's going to ever do that for you because they're living in a whole different one. I used to say this to my wife all the time. I'm like, what color is the sun in your world? Because she would just say some things that make zero sense. Like, is it green or like what? Because I don't see it. But here's the thing. It's exactly that. Like, I'm not saying she's colorblind, but maybe she does see it a different color than me, right?
Yeah.
So I know that's funny, but it's literally that. It's like, put everything aside. Think that deeply and nothing should bother you. And you should just be clear. Like, nobody's going to understand every single thing I say, the way I say it. It's going to rub them the wrong way. Stop tripping over that. Just create the reality you want. You want to surround yourself with a bunch of yes people. If that makes you happy, go ahead. I don't, but that's the reality I want is as authentic and truthful as possible, knowing that there is a limit to that we can communicate with each other because we cannot communicate everything that is inside us. We don't have all the words. We don't know how to because we think everybody else sort of just sees that same light, that same color, everything the same way as us. And if you can identify that, like, and keep hold of that, things get a lot easier because you just stop trying to convince people of something. Yes. They'll never be convinced because they just don't live in that reality.
They don't get it.
And they don't care to.
No, and it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. So, like, I'll give you an example. The agency came out with a white paper that proved that we are in the matrix. It's public information, but we're all still here worried about other bullshit, I've read it. I've done it. It's insane.
Which pill you got in your pocket?
The red.
Share that later.
Only the
After
red.
2, because I still got work to do.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, Jesus. All right. That's another podcast.
Yeah, maybe. So we got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
I just wanted to thank the guys who provide the collab, and you've been a part of it. Actually, you're probably the first one that came in here that saw for yourself everything that was here. You know, we have access to the studio, the offices, everything else. So I always like to shout them out for providing the space, and say anybody who out there who's looking for other entrepreneurs to rub shoulders with, do podcasts with, have meeting places with, or just, talk about Moringa and Celsius and all the other crazy stuff we talk about here. Just go on tangents for fun, and still get work done, because these actually produce results.
This is
the collab is 4007 North Taliaferro Avenue in Tampa, exit 46B, MLK and 275.
Yep.
And if you can't figure it out from there where we're at, like, pull up, dog.
Shout out to Jay Barbosa for letting me know about this place.
Yeah, Jay, our friend Jay, contracting guy, real quiet storm.
He's a beast.
He introduced you and then I hooked you. So the Jays.
Yeah.
Look at that. Like that.
I went to high school with him, so that's why we kept in touch. It was just
so shout out to the people who provide this space. And if you guys ever want to reach out, entrepreneurs in Tampa or outside of Tampa, you can reach me on Instagram, the Dad Next Door, or
that's your
Facebook.
IG?
Yeah, it's my personal.
Okay.
Trash Mitter is the business one.
I got you.
Personal one's the Dad Next Door, because I told you I'm all about the dad stuff.
Right,
So
right.
the Dad Next Door is my, like the millionaire next door. It's like not just about me. It's like about the guys next to you doing cool stuff that you don't know about, and you should go meet them. In fact, for the day before Father's Day every year, we do a party in my neighborhood. I call it the Dad Next Door party. And it's just the neighbors getting together and doing the dads doing all the goofy stuff they don't get to do the rest of the year.
That's cool.
With a free reign, because tomorrow's Father's Day, but that's the day they get to rest, and this day is the day they get to wild out with permission, more or less, because it's more like tolerated than it is encouraged.
Sure.
But we just have a good time, and
Love it.
and one day I hope to make that sponsored by like Yingling and like all these other brands, so then it becomes this big random party that all the dads get like their spring break. That's like that's my vision.
The dad break.
Yeah. I mean, give it like 5 years, and maybe that'll be a real it'll be big like that. But right now it's super small, but it's cool.
It.
How do they get in touch with you?
Sure.
On the socials?
Sure. So I'm on Instagram at Earth Patriot. You can find me on Twitter, Jason Rashidnia. And yeah, those the simplest, those two. Because right now even my personal site isn't even.
I thought LinkedIn was your favorite.
You know what? LinkedIn is my favorite because it pretty much sets the authority.
You can tell who's spamming you right away.
Yeah. Because then I can get your email when you connect with me. I have my automations doing their thing.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Anyways, catch me on LinkedIn, Jason Rashidnia.
My man. So that's it. We did what we came to do.
Yes, sir.
We talked some trash, and we definitely talked some cash.
Thank you, sir.
And if you guys out there want to hear more about Trash or Cash and see some of these episodes, you can go to Trashmitter on YouTube. Let's look it up. Trashmitter, like transmitter. Just spell trash instead of trans. Nothing against that. I'm not getting into that. Let me just put it that way.
Oh no, we're gonna get canceled.
Rewind. So Trashmitter, the Trash or Cash podcast is like a whole bunch of these video episodes. I like the video episodes better. I kind of don't even care about the audio part that much, only because
probably should have looked at the camera.
Yeah, no, you should listen. Do what you got to do. Flex if you go put the muscles up. I wish you had my T-shirt on right now.
They're little.
You're getting one on the way out.
Yeah.
You can connect to us that way on IG. You want to be a guest here at some point? Catch us at the spot. Whatever you want to do, connect with us. We would love to have you, especially if you're a Tampa, you're an entrepreneur. You got a big idea. You want to pitch us something. Hopefully in the future we're set up to do we'll just stream some people in and have them pitch. This is about fun. This is about entrepreneurship. This is about just making connections and networking. So I hope you got that from us and had a little bit of fun while you got to see that. And I'm gonna ask you, so do you have a catchphrase that do you do the finger guns when you say goodbye to people? What's your thing? Peace out, dog, or whatever. What's your what catchphrase do you leave people with?
I don't necessarily have one, but I can
tip of the hat. Some affectation.
Be more.
Be more. Be more. That's a wrap. And for me, I'm still working on mine, but peace and may the cash be with you. I'm still working on that, but that's what I'm going with for now.
I love it.
All right, brother.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jason.
Thank you.
Well, that concludes this episode of Trash or Cash. Make sure you follow on all socials at Trashmitter. That's TRASHMITTER. And keep up with all episodes at trashorcashpodcast.com.